Hello folks, welcome to Peach Guitars. My name's Jack Griffiths. I've been tasked today with giving you a walk around of the store. Specifically, I'm going to pick out 5 guitars that catch my eye. I'm going to bring them in the room, play them for you, maybe talk a little bit more about each one. I don't know what I'm going to pick yet. I don't know what's even in the store because we get so much time spent in this room alone, the studio. I don't know what's going on out there. So we're going to go and find out together. Join me, we're going to take a walk around the store, find some cool stuff. This is the warehouse, which you may have seen before in various videos. We're not even going to entertain the thought of opening any boxes though, because there are thousands upon thousands of instruments out here. We're just going to focus on what's already out and displayed beautifully for the general public. Okay, so as if by magic, we've appeared in the heart of the store. This is the saloon, the main showroom. You've probably seen this across various videos throughout the last few years, and it's always in a state of flux. It's always changing. The sales guys are very, very good at displaying whatever the latest stock is that has arrived, or just whatever looks the coolest. This is really cool, for example, this black and red Bad Cat and Exotic mix-up. So this is a complete mystery playground. I'm just going to have a little wander around and see what catches my eye. I've already seen number 1. Follow me over here. The Gibson Extravaganza stage. So this is Gibson USA World. This is separate to Gibson Custom Shop, but there's still a plethora of different models and styles here. The thing that caught my eye from over the room there is this. So this is a Les Paul Standard 60s Double Trouble. And when these came out, I remember seeing these and thinking, finally, double cream humbucking pickups have made a reappearance. I'm a massive Ace Frehley fan, and all that cool 70s modded Gibsons when DiMarzio's were the hot thing. Anytime I see a guitar with double creams, I have a good feeling about it. I don't know what it's going to sound like, so let's start there with the Double Trouble. We'll get it in the studio and find out how it sounds. Quick correction for guitar number 1. I just spotted out the corner of my eye that kind of Bourbon burst version up there instead, so I'm going to be really difficult. We're going to get a ladder out. That's the one. That's the one we're going to try. Okay, so that was a fairly conventional pick for guitar number 1, but I always kind of have to start with something I'm familiar with at least, because that's put me in a good space. But there's just so much to check out. So let's try and we'll challenge ourselves a little bit. We're going to go upstairs, and this space in particular is always in a state of flux. There's always something different on display right up the top. So follow me, Drew, follow me up the stairs. And I'm seeing some nice Gretches in front of me. I've definitely played a nice few Gretches in recent times on the listing videos. I always love these kind of silver sparkle and these slightly unique finishes that Gretsch sometimes implement to their classic models. But I don't think we're going to go with a Gretsch today because I've played a lot of really cool ones recently. What I haven't spent so much time with is the kind of SEs and the S2s from PRS, and they've been coming out with some really great models. If anyone's seen the videos before, you might know I'm a huge fan of these special PRSs, which initially were semi-hollow. I believe these are the S2s, so still USA made, but slightly more affordable price. These aren't semi-hollow, but it's still a special with the 2 humbuckers and the narrow field in the middle. That's going to be quite interesting. I've never played one of those. I want to hear how that sounds. So that's number 2. And what else we got up here? We've got some Duesenbergs. We've got some Eastmans. Now this is quite interesting because this is a brand that, and Charvel too, these are 2 brands I don't keep up with. I don't really keep up with their modern offerings, but they're always bringing out new designs and slight tweaks to existing models and limited editions and stuff like that. I've always been a fan of the Charvels, and I don't know if I've seen any with a Relic finish before. That's kind of this weathered orange. I'm always a sucker for a Floyd as well. I think Floyds are fun. Roasted maple neck. That could be an interesting third choice. It's certainly changed things up a little bit. Let's get some Charvel on the go. Okay, I think that's it for upstairs. There's still plenty of choice and lots of options that we could explore. There's basses over there, there's reverends over there, but Need to mix it up a little bit more. We're going to head out to another section of the store. It's going to be quite a walk though, so bear with. We're going to head over there now. Little special honorary mention for this guitar, which we played recently. This is the Mike Campbell Stories Collection guitar from Fender. It's called the Red Dog Telecaster, and I mean it's quite an interesting Telecaster anyway, genetically, with 2 humbuckers and a single coil and a Fender style Bigsby. But it also has this hand-operated, foot-switchable, crazy boost in it that's like this really interesting fuzz tone. It's quite an uncontrollable thing, but it does sound really good. We're not going to play that today, but there is a video on the Peach Boutique channel if you want to hear that thing in action. Let's move to my favourite space of the store, which is upstairs, and you'll see why in just a moment. Okay, so this is premium land. This is where we get into a lot of the custom shops and the more obscure boutique brands, Serus, Nags, PRS and all that stuff, as well as Gibson and Fender. There's tons of stuff up here. This is going to be very exciting, so let's just see what we find first. What catches our eye first? Well, I am a sucker for a Sir, as many of you may know. So, played a fair few of these guitars in recent times as well, like the Mateus Classic T. That was a standout because that's just it's familiar enough to be adaptable if you're a T-style player, but it's also got some slightly more modern, player-friendly quirks. But we've already done that one. I'm also a big fan of these metallic S's. I just think they always look really good. They offer something slightly different than the guitars from Fender. And these particular ones, these vintage guitars, have a slightly different take with nickel frets instead of stainless steel, slightly different pickups, the 6-screw bridge. I can never quite get enough of those guitars, so we're going to grab one of those. I think I like this Fiesta Red one. That's pick number, where are we up to? 3? 4? I've lost count already. How hard is it to count to 4? Whatever pick that is, it's going in the video. Okay, Gibson Custom Room. This is always a happy place as well. Tons and tons of great looking Les Pauls. That 54 you may have seen recently in a few videos actually, because this became a bit of a clutch. This is a 54, kind of inspired by the Jeff Beck Oxblood guitar. It's probably quite hard to pick up on the camera there because it's a dark guitar in a dark corner, but it's a stunning instrument. Again, you've already heard and seen that, so we'll leave that for today. That though. TV Heather Poly VOS 63 SG Junior. Yes, yes please. I always love guitars like this because you know they're going to have a very distinct character. 1 pickup, 2 controls, amazing unique finish. When I get instruments like this, my first thought isn't necessarily what does it sound like. It's going to be more about the feel and how does it interact with the controls. What's the neck profile going to be like? We'll find out together. Okay, before we leave upstairs, and there's plenty of stuff I didn't even touch, all the way in that corner, PRS, the Powers Electrics, all the amazing amplifiers as well, but I always like to pay attention to what's happening in this room because last time I was in here this was full of Sirs, and now it's full of even more great Californian output from Tom Anderson. Again, you've seen quite a lot of those recently on the channel, and the amazing James Tylers, and the Novos. And this is a brand I'm not as familiar with. I've played a few of them, but I'm still kind of trying to understand what they're about and what they offer, so it's probably a good idea to grab one of these. I mean, this is pretty interesting. This is I'm guessing it's a P2 is the model. Dealer limited guitar, chambered in a very nice faded T-burst finish. 2 P90s is always a winning combination. That could be a good pick. Alright, so that was a somewhat clumsy walk around of the store, but hopefully it gives you an idea not only of the scale of what's on offer here, but also the breadth of different types of instruments. And it is quite interesting actually just to see what catches the eye without giving too much thought into what I want to show. So I've made my picks, I'm going to grab them, take them to the studio, and now you're going to hear them. Let's go. Okay folks, welcome back to the studio. So we've picked our 5 and I think it's quite an interesting selection of guitars without necessarily realizing or intending. I picked quite a different variety of instruments, some of which I have played before but don't remember all that clearly, some of which I've never played before. So we're just going to give a few impressions here, play you a few quick tones. I'm playing through the Bad Cat Ocelot amplifier. We're going to start right here. So this was this was the first guitar that caught my eye, which is a Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s Double Trouble, hence the name due to these double cream pickups, which, as I said, I really love. I'm not sure exactly what pickups they are. We'll flash that up on the screen right here. They sound not too high output, which is always the thing that's how I judge a Gibson guitar, or any humbucker or Cook guitar, to be honest. I like a pickup that's not too pokey so that you have some form of dynamic, and this delivers that. So here's a quick blast with a kind of mid-gain crunchy tone. Middle position, neck volume rolled back just a little bit. Sounds like this. Sounds really good, I think. It's really nice and dynamic, as you heard when I rolled down the volume. It does the thing you want it to do. The look of this guitar, though, just immediately puts me in mind of those kind of Ace Frehley 70s classic rock thing. It's as much a visual thing as it is a sonic thing for me, with a guitar that looks like this. The neck also doesn't feel quite like I expected. Being a 60s guitar, it's not quite as skinny as some other Les Paul 60s models that I've played in the past. But it's definitely not a big chunky 50s profile. It's kind of a nice little sweet spot. I think it feels like a really solid Les Paul. It's kind of got everything you want. No coil splits or anything like that, but still really reactive, responsive wiring. And these pickups deliver. Just another quick little blast with a clean tone, completely clean. You'll hear, as I said, they're not too loud, they're not too high output pickups, that you can still get a nice usable clean. So that was guitar number 1, the Gibson Les Paul Standard Double Trouble. Let's move on to number 2. Okay, guitar number 2 was this. This is a PRS Special. I believe this is the S2 variety. So the way PRS is structured is you have the core line guitars, which are the kind of full fat USA, beautiful, beautiful guitars. Then you have the S2s, which are these, which are slightly streamlined models. Maybe they don't have certain features that the core line guitars have, but what they lack in some of the craftsmanship, they make up for in player utility. So this, for example, is a bolt-on neck version, maple neck, obviously, as well, which is something that the core line doesn't offer. And it's not the semi-hollow body that the core line offers. This is a solid body, but still with the 5-way switch and the coil splits and the narrow field pickup that the core line model offers. So I think it's quite an interesting variation. I'm not going to say a compromise, but a variation on the Special, which I love so much. So I haven't plugged this one in just yet. So let's see how it sounds. I'll go for that kind of crunchy mid-gain tone again. The thing I love about the core line Special are these in-between positions 2 and 4, where you get the combination of the narrow field with either humbucker. Let's see how that sounds. I'm very happy with what this guitar offers. It just kind of does a little bit of everything. You can use it in a kind of pseudo strat way if you want to get that split coil neck pickup sound. It will do the full fat bridge pickup thing. It does that nice position 2 and 4 where it's a really unique tone but tons of articulation. But it doesn't quite sound like anything else. It has its very own distinct character, and despite not even being the semi-hollow makeup that the core line guitar has, it still has that airiness and that clarity and nuance in each note. So for example, position 2, these two pickups here together, if I go to a high gain sound, you'll hear just how clear everything sounds while still having some body behind each note as well. So a very versatile guitar, but it does it in its own unique way, which I really like. Guitar number 3. Okay, guitar number 3 was this, which was perhaps a little bit of an oddball choice, but I thought we can't just do the classic, vintage style guitars, because there's a huge demand for guitars like this, and I've always been a fan of Charvel in particular. I love that kind of 80s retro super strat thing that they were really the first to do, along with Jackson. So I'm always keen to see what they come up with next, and this being a slight Relic, I like the colour, and I love the feel of the roasted maple neck, or caramelized maple as I believe Charvel call it. So this is a Pro Mod Relic San Dimas Style 1 HH FR Floyd Rose Palfero, so it's Palfero, not rosewood, weathered orange. It's quite a mouthful, but let's hear how it sounds. I'm going to go straight for a high gain thing, or mid to high gain, and Seymour Duncan pickups. I'm guessing a JB in the bridge. Let's see how it sounds. They're always fun, this kind of guitar. I mean, when you want something that is genuinely different and feels totally different, you really have to adapt your playing style when you play a guitar like this. It brings something out of you that's different in your playing that you wouldn't get from anything else. And actually, let's just see how hot these pickups are when it comes to a cleaner tone, because I always think if you can get a good usable clean out of these, they have a nice mid-range character that you don't get out of anything else, thanks to the Floyd Rose bridge. Let's see what the clean's like. You kind of heard what I mean there, neck pickup, but it still has a really throaty mid-range to it. One last quick blast on the high gain. I really like these pickups, they're really articulate. I just really like this thing, it's cool, it's a bit different, and it does bring something different out of my playing. There's a lot of use of the word different there, but you get the point. let's move on to something a little bit different. Okay, guitar number 4 caught my eye for fairly obvious reasons. This is an amazing finish that I don't think I've seen on any other guitar before. They call it TV Heather, which we're more familiar with TV Yellow, TV White and so on. TV Heather, that's a new one. But it's a really nice, sort of translucent, almost pearlescent. Heather is a good choice of descriptive term, I suppose. It's kind of a pinky purpley, just really unique looking guitar. Anyway, 63 SG Junior with the lightning bar tailpiece. It's a VOS finish, which I always really like from the Gibson Custom Shop, as well as their Relics, but I am partial to a VOS. As I said when I saw this though, I kind of know this is going to sound great because single pickup Gibson guitars always sound fantastic, but it's about the feel. That's where you get the character. So this is a slight, actually a bigger neck than I would expect for a 63. Kind of actually feels similar to my 64 SG standard that I have, but maybe even a little bit bigger than that still. You kind of have to dig into this kind of guitar a little bit more. Enough talking, let me just show you some tones. So we'll go for that crunchy breakup tone. Let's see how it sounds. There's so much variety of tone that you can get just out of one pickup, one sound on the amp, and by varying the volume and tone controls. This has a really nice kind of meaty quality. I actually prefer, personally speaking, I prefer an SG Junior to a Les Paul Junior a lot of the time because it has that extra articulation. You get enough from a P90 anyway, but with an SG it really has this nice bite to it, while still having substantive body to it as well, substantial body to the guitar tone. It's a good all-rounder. I like it. Guitar number 5. Right, guitar number 5. This one was a bit of a surprise and quite an unknown to me as well, actually. I'm not particularly familiar with the Novo brand. They're still relatively new to us here at the shop, and I know John is a big fan of what they do. For me, I mean, visually it's amazing, and sonically, the ones I've played have had this really nice quality to them. They kind of, again, as I mentioned with that PRS before, it kind of covers familiar ground, but it does it in its own way. So it's not trying to be anything else. This obviously being a 2P90 guitar puts you in mind of certain other Gibsons and things of that nature, but I don't think it's trying to do that at all. It's a much lighter in terms of its weight. So it kind of puts me in mind of like a Rickenbacker, that kind of thing. I feel like this would be a great rhythm guitar. To give a little more context, this is a Novo dealer limited model, chambered, hence the weight, Serus P2. I'm guessing because of the two P90 pickups, faded T burst. Let's just see how it sounds on that nice in-between kind of crunchy tone. really great sounding all-rounder. I love P90s because when you turn the volume down, or even just lay off with your pick attack a little bit and play a bit softer, it still feels like there's a lot of bandwidth to the tone. Some pickups sound like they get a bit weaker and maybe a bit skinnier, or they become ill-defined when you play softer. These don't. These constantly have your back. Whatever dynamic you want to put out with your picking hand, the pickups will still deliver the full frequency spectrum. Really comfortable neck as well. It's quite a chunky neck. This is kind of puts me in mind of a Gibson 50s profile, but the way the neck's been finished, where the lacquer has actually been removed from most of the playing surface on the back, it's really comfortable, really worn in, very smooth. You've got nice, fairly chunky frets, but not super jumbo frets that make it feel a little bit difficult to play chords, but you still get enough traction for single notes and bends and stuff like that. So really, really great all-rounder. Tonally speaking, it sits in a really nice place. The chambering brings out a lot of openness and top end and clarity. The nice big neck brings some extra heft to the tone, and as I said, those P90s are a winner kind of on all fronts. And I happen to really like the way this looks, but that's what's great about them. They're making stuff that's legitimately a little bit different, a little bit daring, but if you do want something a bit more classic at the same time, they've got you covered there too. So folks, that was a little eclectic, wasn't it? But I hope you've enjoyed sticking with me through this, my first showroom tour video. We'll try and hone this and get this a little bit tighter for future episodes, but let me know in the comments below what you think of my 5 picks. We'll certainly have a totally different spread of guitars on the next time we do this, and that's the enjoyable thing about this concept, and I'm looking forward to doing this in future, is that there's just so much stuff in stock. It's really hard to keep track. Even some of these guitars I've played before, but I don't remember what they were like because there's so much in stock. So I look forward next time to delving even deeper into the realms of the Peach Guitars stock out in the showroom and the saloon and all that stuff. So let me know your favorite pick of these 5 down in the comments below. If I was to pick a winner, I'm not going to. I'll let you be the judge. Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much as always for watching. You can find out more information about each of these 5 guitars and indeed everything else that we have in stock by clicking the links down in the description below. So until next time, take care, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.